Alright, in this video I'm going to try to answer some of the more frequently asked questions about the Rainforest theme waterfall. So in addition to that, as you can see, there's a new little addition, that of the fog. We've got a mist maker. The information for this will be in the bottom of the video in the more information section. But so yeah, this video will be more of answering the questions that I've received. I've noticed that this project, more than any other project, seems to be what people are making, at least the majority of the people. So I've got this video trying to answer some questions on how to build this waterfall. But before that, as you can see, we've got the fog maker. I thought I'd add this just to give it, an extra aesthetic quality. Did quite a bit of research on foggers. I ended up getting a somewhat expensive one. There's quite a few out there. There's some that only cost like $10. They go up to get to be rather expensive, but I wanted one that I could increase the fog or decrease the fog, turn the lights on and off, adjust the lights. I'll show the lights later in the video. So it's really all in what you're wanting if you're going to buy one of these fog makers. So like I say, you could get one of those cheap ones, but with this, what I figured, there you can see the different color. But I figured that, I'm only going to have this on a very brief period of time, maybe 5-10 minutes, and say, ooh, look at that, and then probably turn it off. It'd probably be a different story as to which type of fogger you'd want to get if you're going to have it on 24 hours a day. So that's something you need to decide and incorporate in the research if you're going to get a fogger. But as you can see, it really increases the look. So first thing is something I would have done differently. If I had to do this over again, I would have, as you can see, had a separate piece where you can open it up and be able to get into that filter. As it is now, the way I built it, it's quite difficult actually getting that camouflaging helmet that covers up the filter. It camouflages it. Getting the filter in there is just, it'd be a lot easier having that top removed. There's quite a few people that have built this that have incorporated that idea. And it's something actually I did on the Canyon waterfall, so I'm not sure why I didn't do it with this. Okay, frequently asked questions. One, is this appropriate for outdoors? I would say yes. It's something that, they look strong, these structures, but they're actually quite fragile. They're made of styrofoam, and to strengthen these structures up, if you're going to put this outside, you might add quite a few layers more of grout or foam coat. With this particular project, I used grout, but as of late, I have been using foam coat. So, the more layers you add, the stronger it's going to be. The other thing is the sealant, So even if you're not creating this for a living creature, it's really a good idea to add several layers of a sealant. So, and then, having the common sense to bring this inside if it's outside, like during winter or during a storm, something like that, creating a cover for it. Okay, so next question, how long or how much time did it take to do this? Kind of difficult to answer because I worked on it off and on, where I'd take a week off or I'd take 2 weeks off, or and then the week I would work on it, I'd only work on it like 2 days out of the week. So off and on it took like 5 months. But different question if I were to actually condense that into 8-hour days, working like 40 hours a week. So I'm not really sure. It's, I was not building this from a plan, so I was just making it up as I went. And to try to figure it out as you're doing it, takes some time, so you just end up standing back from it and wondering how you're going to make the physics of it work. And then if you watch the original video, I was having quite a few problems with the leaking, so that definitely added to how much time it took. Let's see, what critters or what pets are appropriate for this? Get this question all the time, and this you really just want to use common sense. If it's not completely obvious that a pet is comfortable around water, pets like Chinese water dragon, it's got the word water literally in its name. Other obvious pets, turtles, frogs, newts, certain types. But the definitive way of knowing or checking is to contact a vet and ask him or her, this is what I've got. Is it going to be healthy, or dangerous to have this much water in his cage? So, next question, how much did this cost? And it really depends on where you go for materials, what you already have before you even start. I would give a price range in the neighborhood of like $40 to $90. A lot of this is, depending on the sealant, that can be quite expensive to get the proper sealant. So it's one of those. It does have to be sealed. That's like the most important step. I would say even if you're creating this for a tabletop waterfall, you really need to seal it. You don't want it leaking. You want it to last long. It's going to last longer if you seal it. So yeah, that would be my price range. Speaking of that, then I'll get a question, can I buy one from you? Can you make me one in such and such dimensions? And I just don't have the time. I would love to be able to have a factory and stamp these out and be able to actually provide them for people, but the time it takes to create one of these, it's just, and then you get the shipping costs, of course the cost of the materials I just talked about. So the price for what someone is really willing to pay, it's just not worth the time. But you never know, in the future I might figure it out or crunch the numbers at some point. And I'll get, probably the most popular question is, what's a materials list? And if you go on my website, there's a frequently asked questions page, and the first question answered is that question. It gives you all the materials pretty much for all the projects, but this one as well. I'll get other questions like, can I substitute, say, grout or foam coat for cement? And cement, it's something I used years ago. I can't really remember exactly if it was, better or worse than grout or foam coat, but I seem to remember it being a little bit more difficult to work with. But there's certain things, as long as it will hold together enough for you to get the sealant onto it, and it applies evenly, then you can pretty much use anything. The more layers you add for whatever you're using, the stronger the structure is going to be. And then another popular question is the sealant itself. Everybody's always looking for an alternative sealant, understandably, because it's expensive stuff. The problem is the alternatives are probably even more expensive. You've got pond sealant, it's not toxic because you're dealing with obviously potentially putting fish in the pond, but the issue with that is it comes in huge bulk amount, because usually an outdoor pond is going to be rather large. So it's one of those things you really do need to apply the non-toxic sealant. And in this case, with this project, the at least 4 layers of the acrylic, again listed in the materials list that's on the facts page of the website. And then of course the 1 layer of aquarium grade non-toxic sealant. So other sealants you might find, your best bet is to contact the company and be sure and ask them, is this sealant in fact non-toxic when cured, and tell them what you're using it for. I've got this animal that I might be putting into this cage, is this going to be an issue? So another question is, what type of pump filter are you using in these videos? For the 3 waterfalls that I've done, I've used a Tetra Repto filter, and this is a 90 GPH, which is gallons per hour. They do make a 125 gallons per hour version of the Tetra Repto filter. They also make other literally already put together waterfalls that incorporate the same filter. So it's important that if you're making this, for a living creature, that you seriously consider getting a waterfall pump that's got a filtration system. Obviously, it'll make the water cleaner. But yeah, if you're using this, if you're creating this just for a tabletop waterfall, there's really no reason to have a filter. But this may be a stronger filter than one of those cheaper cheaper pumps that doesn't have a filter and it just draws water up to create a fall. This might actually last longer. So even if you're not creating it for a living creature, you might want to consider getting something like that. All right, there you have it. I'm sure I left out a ton of questions, but feel free to ask, and good luck in creating your own fake rock rainforest waterfall.